So Ryan Seacrest, we lost all of our audio from our video yesterday, but you're nice enough to talk to us again.
We had so much magic yesterday. I don't know if we can recreate it, can we?
We'll do our best.
I was actually in the car when I heard you promote the fact that something went terribly wrong with the interview, and I thought, oh gosh, what did I say?
It wasn't you.
It was the record button.
It was the microphone that came out of the phone.
Oh, man.
You've been doing this 14 years now, 14th season American Idol. Each phase has sort of its own special place for you. Each part of the process is kind of cool, different for you.
Yeah, each part is different. Every year we get to go out to, obviously, a city like New Orleans, different cities around the country. We get to meet people in their unvarnished, raw state of talent. We get to meet their moms and their dads, and to see the excitement and the look on their faces when the families watch their kid come through the door. That's pretty cool every year. That never gets old. That's always one of the best parts. And then you cut to the end of the season when that same contestant is polished and they're well known and they're close to winning, and then they're putting out a record. For me, that whole journey never gets old, which is why I love hosting the show every year.
Still doing the radio thing and all your time spent there. You mentioned American Top 40 and listening to Casey Kasem growing up and then taking the show over, what that was like.
Yeah, American Top 40 has been on the radio for many, many years. And as a kid, it was my connection to Hollywood and to music. I grew up in Atlanta, and I remember listening to Casey every single weekend. And he was how I got to know artists and how I got to know music. So I knew nothing about him other than he was this big star in the radio business. And then I got a chance to meet him when I moved to LA. Cut to the fact that he passed the baton to me a few years ago to host the show, which is the most flattering and unbelievable thing as a kid who listened to him could think of. So I have a lot of respect for what he did for our industry and then what he did for me personally. So he'll be missed forever.
You mentioned yesterday, I realized you were one of us with radio when you talked about being a kid with the station van. Can you remind me of that?
Yeah, I was saying to you that when I started my first gig, and I was so excited to have that first gig, was to drive the station van. And I was still living at home with my parents. And so I'd asked the program director if I could have the van park in my driveway on the weekends. So people who would drive through the neighborhood would be like, oh, cool, somebody works for the local radio station. I mean, that was like the biggest deal in the world for me. So I get excited every time I say the call letters and every time I get to play one of what we call the jingles. Right. I still love that.
And lastly, Georgia's doing well?
Georgia's doing very well. She's got a very shiny coat. She's potty trained almost perfectly. I have not seen her in a couple of weeks, so hopefully she still remembers me.
Great. Thank you, Ryan.